boy Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there's having a good day. Y'all make sure you guys watch from start to finish. That really helps the channel grow. But with that being said, let's do what we came here for. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Epstein is alive. Epstein is alive.
Oh my gosh. Look at this.
I'm going home.
Y'all,
I ain't saying
this
that
is the
line.
airport. This is the airport TSA. Oh my goodness, y'all. If you're going to the airport, this is the line. Oh my goodness.
That's crazy.
Since she's not here, I'm gonna share some dirt on Ellen. I'm not talking just dirt. I mean, I'm telling you some deep, dark secrets. People think that she buys and sells houses because she loves real estate. No, it's not true. It's because she's on the run from the law. You have no idea. It's not true.
It's because she's on the run from the law.
And it all slowly starts to make sense. And what I mean by that is this why this person has fled their country and is nowhere to be seen. After all, many things are said in jest, and Hollywood never lies to us. They always put it hidden in plain sight. It's almost too much of a coincidence that this was said on the show and all the events that have unfolded since. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because there's definitely a lot more to this.
So I saw this video online that actually no one has ever bought a mattress from a mattress store. So over under 0.5 people go to this mattress store in an hour.
I'm taking the over.
This is conspiracy handshake bets. Let's find out.
March 11th, 11:34.
Workers don't count.
Here we go. Oh, James.
Oh, what? Oh, like,
Why are you shocked? You guys obviously not gonna go get a mattress because no one goes to the mattress stores. It's a front. They're all front.
no. So I wanted to make this bet because have you ever been to a mattress store? I have the same mattress from when my parents bought it for me. Or I bought it on Amazon. Or I got it at Costco.
I just
I've
bought a
never been to
mattress.
an actual mattress store. Have you?
No.
Can't be too suspicious.
No.
Then leave. It's been 20 minutes in. How many people do you think went to the mattress firm?
0. Okay. You checking?
Yeah, I'm gonna check.
Oh.
Who's that? Oh, no, it's a worker. Is that a worker?
Yeah. You can see the mattress firm. Of course.
Hey, nobody.
Dude, still nobody.
Are you shocked? Hey, I've been telling you. No one actually buys mattresses from a mattress shop.
You just stuff the mattresses with other things.
Money, drugs. What should we bet on X? I'm kind of down to keep testing all this stuff out.
It all makes sense now, bro. Like, all the damn vampires and shit that's in damn, like in America, bro, they in Oregon, bro. Cause one day I was just walking down the road in Portland, and I'm like, bro, just off how Portland is set up, like how it's just so dark and just the people, the vibe, the energy. If you ever been to Portland, you know the energy I'm talking about. But like, just that energy, I was like, bro, it give you vampire-ish. I was like, what if all the vampires was damn here in Oregon? I said, what if the movie Twilight was about that? I Googled it. I forgot. That's what exactly, she went to the town in fucking Washington. But then I seen that they said they filmed a lot of it around Portland, bro. They was telling you that all the vampires was in goddamn Portland anyway. Bro, that shit just so dark, bro. I walked past a frozen custard place. The bitch was pitch black with just like, you know, like the neon lights that you get and put on your wall and shit. Like, bro, you just walk. It was like a nightclub, but it was just for frozen custard. Like, what? Bro, the whole place just dark, bro. They people is, if you know, you know,
I mean,
bro.
it's
I don't
cloudy,
know. That's why all the
rainy all the
vampires is. So
time.
your ass don't want to get abducted and get your damn. I was about to say something. TikTok gonna fuck my video up. Don't go to Portland.
Anybody that lives out there in Portland and Oregon and Washington, like, how is the mood? Because I know when it rains here for like 3 days in a row, I'm like, I cannot wait for this sunlight. Now, they call my city Sun City, right? It's 365 days in the year, 300 days out of the year are sunny, right? So how is life out there when it's constantly cloudy? Because I couldn't imagine.
So I'm as school right now. I just left my cell bio class and I had to make a TikTok before I forget. My professor just told us that a group of scientists did a study on a chemical that's found in all of our food, a lot of our food. It starts with an A. I don't know. He said the name. I don't remember it. But basically they did a test on about 40 frogs, right? With this chemical. At the end of the test, 30 out of 40 of the fucking frogs were chemically castrated. Okay? Their male parts were completely gone. And they started developing fertile eggs like females. That means that shit literally turned them into female frogs with time. And that is what is found in a lot of our foods. Not the boys are literally turning into the girls, y'all. We have not been tripping this whole time. Like, they swear they're not sassy. It's like, okay, they call everything sassy. Everything we do is sassy. You're literally genetically mutating into a female before our eyes.
And she's turning into a man. Look how
And there's
masculine
proof,
she's talking, and
to prove it.
you know what I mean? Aggressive.
Mind fucking blown. The boys are literally the new girls. I'm dead.
Lab-grown chocolate is coming to shelves in 2027. Oreo, Cadbury, and Toblerone are already funding the Israeli biotech producing it because a lab is cheaper than a farm.
Cadbury has been quietly replacing your chocolate every single year. This dairy milk isn't legal chocolate in 27 countries. The cocoa butter was replaced with vegetable fat, a cheap blend of 6 industrial oils. What remains is diluted with polyglycerol, then flavored with petroleum vanilla to mask the waxy taste. Soon, even that gets replaced. You'll be eating cells grown in a pharmaceutical tank. Exposure flagged lead and cadmium traces with an ultra-processing warning. Check my profile to download the app.
So you're telling me that not only did 2 randos just walk into a military base and steal 4 drones, but the reward for finding said drones is $5,000. We are spending $3 billion a day dropping bombs on Iran. But this is all you could muster up to solve the little domestic security threat. 5,000.
Bezos. 5,000. They must not really care about them, right? Because no one's going to really go out of their way for 5,000. But we take a deeper dive on this whole drone situation later on in the video. Stay tuned.
To help fund DARPA. Amazon was created in DARPA. They gave it to the guy. They're like, you're the crazy enough to pull this thing off. They give him the project. They start with books. And once that gets to the point where it's like fully functional, now they put it out to everywhere. People always go, why does Amazon not have to pay a lot of taxes? Well, why would an extension of the government have to pay taxes to the government? It's the same thing with Facebook, same thing with Google. They're all extensions of the U.S. government. They're CIA money.
How much does it cost Saudi Arabia to produce 1 barrel of oil?
This is an excellent question.
Cents.
It is very small, very
Cost us
little.
300,
It's
100.
probably less than $2 to produce a barrel.
Saudi Arabia reportedly needs to sell oil for at least $55 a barrel to cover the cost of running the country. Fossil fuels finance 75% of its entire domestic spending budget. But oil has sunk below that break-even price. Does this worry you? Does this send chills through your spine?
No, I'm not a worrier. I get concerned, but I don't worry.
Are you concerned?
The concern is this. Any price must be good for the producer, for the consumer, for the investor, the oil companies.
So you're saying if the price goes too low, then production will fall, and in the end we'll be squeezed. We won't have enough oil to run our country.
The price will skyrocket.
What he wants is an end to the wild swings in price, which is why, to keep the price from further plummeting, he agreed to a cut of 1.5 million barrels a day in the October meeting of OPEC, the oil cartel. The point is that Saudi Arabia wanted the 1.5. This was not something jammed down your throat.
No. It's not, by the way, nothing gets jammed down our throats.
But Iran wanted more.
Well, I mean, different countries want different levels, different cuts. But in the final analysis, reason prevails.
But are you saying that
Saudi Arabia influence on OPEC?
This is Iran. And what the locals are pouring out isn't water, it's diesel fuel. You might be wondering, isn't that a huge waste? Actually, fuel in Iran is among the cheapest in the world. Gasoline costs less than 80 cents per gallon, which is cheaper than water. Why? Because Iran is one of the world's top oil producers, and they generate massive amounts of gasoline and diesel. But due to international sanctions, Iran struggles to sell its oil on the global market. So instead, they've found other ways, selling fuel to neighboring countries. Some people try smuggling small amounts by speedboat, but that's slow and inefficient. Others use trucks, but Iran's rough mountain roads often lead to traffic jams, and sometimes even explosions. The safest method? It's what you saw at the start of the video. Pouring diesel into underground wells, then pumping it out on the other side of the border, where it can be sold to neighboring countries.
Yes.
You know, makes you kind of realize why we're over there, right? Everything. Anybody ever seen Landman when he breaks it down to that lady? That Tesla battery that you're driving to save the economy uses oil. Those tires, that road you came in, right? That makeup you're using, this cup, this phone, this microphone, everything. The base is oil, y'all. Everything.
Please. We will not let you down.
She got a butterfly tat on the back of a you-know-where.
No ass.
Yeah,
Yeah, she played Charlie.
The concern that we have is that we put out this critical information.
She got a virgin.
And when we go over
his
this risk
ass.
analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take.
Tell me about your experiences in fashion.
I did not go to fashion school, but I am self-taught, so.
I use the Patrick Mahomes theory. Patrick Mahomes' dad, dark-skinned man, get with a white woman, then create athletic kids, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Very fair-skinned man gets with white woman, boom, and then now look at his kids. His kids look completely white. And what are those kids more likely to align themselves with? Other white people. And so now we just took away our talent in millions of generational millions and gave it back to the white community.
The tree in the horror movie The Ring is still standing.
This tree just
This
looks
is the location
creepy.
where Anna Morgan jumped. Go to Fort Worden State Park in Washington and you will find it.
Don't kill yourself, because you know what? The problem is you'll come back and have to do it again. I've seen this over and over again, and that's one of the big things with the masters. Don't kill yourself, because then you haven't learned and they're going to make you come and do it again.
I need a structural engineer to come in here and tell me if this is safe, okay? I'm standing underneath Highway 95 here in Fishtown. I want to show you the structural support for the highway that is above me. But first I want to show you a couple of them that are normal, right? What I consider to be in tip-top condition. And then I want to show you the one I was just standing underneath, which with the rain seems to be getting worse and worse. And then I want you to let me know, is this something that we should actually be concerned about, or if it's no big deal? Here's a really nice concrete column, right? This looks to be in tippy-top shape. It's got the same color mostly that it did when it was first built. Looks good, right? Then we go over to this one, which is behind me. Looks like it's getting some water, right? You see some water coming out of the corner. You can see the staining. This one's not too bad. You see some areas you can tell that they've drawn around it because they're keeping track of it. This one's not too bad, right? But now let's go over to the other one. Look at this bad boy, okay? Clearly water coming through here at very tremendous volumes to cause this kind of damage, right? They're obviously keeping track of it because there are areas where they do draw around. I don't know what they look for, maybe just to see how quickly it's moving. But look right behind it, there's another one that's just fine. How does it get into this condition here but not elsewhere? Here's the outside end of that very same one that I'm just showing you right now. Very clearly exposed rebar. You see that giant crack right there. That doesn't look good, right? And this is not a lot of rain right now. Usually when it's raining outside, it's a freaking waterfall. Is this okay? Is it a cause for concern? Like, obviously they're tracking it, but when does it become a problem?
Have you experienced anything supernatural?
Yes, many things supernatural. Do you want me to
Elaborate. Yeah.
I have a video that was on your thing. Is that the one you want to talk about, or do you have
There's
another
many.
one?
I mean, there's probably 3 I tell all the time.
Okay, tell us.
Okay, so just one in my book, chapter 6, all about deathbed phenomena. So their stories are all throughout, but like there's actual deathbed phenomena that happens at the end of life that I never would have believed as an ICU nurse. I am a woman of science and rational thinking, I suppose, but then after a while you can't unsee what you see. And one of the things that happens at end of life, usually about a month before someone dies, almost everybody will experience some kind of deathbed phenomena. One of the second most seen is visioning, so like seeing dead relatives, dead pets, dead friends.
You're seeing it, or the person
dying.
How do you know they're seeing it?
They tell you.
They tell you.
Okay.
And they're usually the craziest part is that they are alert and oriented. They are not on their last breath saying this. They are talking and saying, "My dad came to me last night and said he's gonna come get me soon, but not to worry and just to hang out for now, and I feel great about it." Like that's happened to me so many. I can't count how many times that's happened to me. But the most craziest things are, one, I feel like I've had this experience that I now know is called a shared death experience. I didn't know it was called that at the time. It was with a young patient. He was dying basically alone. He didn't have very many friends or family. He had a lot of anxiety, and he had a hoarding issue, all these things in his life, right, that we helped at his end of his life. He allowed us to help him for some reason. It's like, I think he hit a bottom when he was dying, and he allowed us to like clear out his apartment, and like he was really open to talking about how he felt, which was mostly scared. And the whole team really got to know this man very well, and he lived longer than we thought, which is still not long, 6 to 9 months, something like that, but he lived a long time for us, and we all got to know him really well. At the very end of his days, I could tell he was dying, because you get good at like knowing he was going to die that day when I saw him, and he was unconscious, of course. And I had a continuous care nurse in the home, meaning a nurse that was going to be with him 24/7. And I said, "Can you text me when he dies? I just want to know." She's like, "Of course." So I say my goodbyes to him, like kind of silently in my head, and I go to my car, and I wasn't really sad because I feel like we did a good job for him. He had a good end of life, and he was having a good actively dying. He was very comfortable. He looked very comfortable. So I just sort of said my goodbyes and left, and sat in my car just for a second and was looking at his apartment, and again saying my final goodbyes because this guy really meant a lot to me. And suddenly in my head, I could hear his voice, like clear as day. And I could feel something. He was making me feel this feeling of like freedom and like ultimate relief and kind of like excitement. It's hard for me not to smile when I'm talking about it because it felt like that. It was like excitement and joy. And he was saying my name, going, "Oh my gosh, Julie. Oh my gosh, Julie. I can't believe this. If I only would have known." He just kept saying that. If I only would have known.
Anything supernatural, these comments are just going to be lit with their stories and testimonies. Let's go check out some of these comments. My dad passed away about 8 months before my mom. My dad waited for her. She would tell me my dad was there about a week before she died. I would ask her where. She'd point to the corner of their bedroom. I faced it and said, "Dad, if you scared the out of me, I swear." She said, "He thinks you are so funny." It was comforting. My dad was in palliative care, and he looked in the corner and smiled and says, "I see mama." He was 74. I miss him so much. Be not afraid, stated 365 times in the Bible. I need to start reading that Bible a little more. My dad, 30-year police officer at his end hospice, his last day on earth, whispered to a room full of family, "Eddie, do you have your camera? Because Jesus is behind you." We all broke down. Also a hospice nurse. I get the honor of walking with people at the end. I believe in God, and each death makes my belief more profound. Wow, these comments, y'all. I knew these comments were going to be good. My mother used to work in a terminal ward. There was a black cat that kept getting in despite their efforts to stop it. It would turn up in a patient's room, sitting at their feet, usually 3 days before they passed. This was a great comfort to the patients. Many of them had little or no visitors and had been waiting months to die alone in their rooms. The presence of the cat was both a comforting death companion and a huge relief. My mom was having a full-blown conversation with her parents and grandmother one week before she passed.
Have you ever been able to remote view?
I don't want to talk about that.
No?
I'm not saying it on camera. Good question.
What can you say about remote viewing?
I can tell you this, that you got to be careful with remote viewing because you have sentinels who are patrolling who comes into that space. And if you disobey them, they can trap your soul, basically.
Damn. Meaning what?
Yeah, so if you go remote viewing in a restricted area, if you keep coming back, they can trap your consciousness someplace. There are people in hospitals right now in comas who's remote viewing and they got trapped someplace else.
Mhm.
What the fuck?
Check out Area 51.
No, they got a blockade. I heard
They got
they
a
got a
blockade.
blockade around
Yeah,
Area
Area
51.
51 and Mount Shasta.
You could stop remote viewing.
They got people. They have.
He said, all right.
They have.
Damn, so if I can't see that type of shit, what the fuck I got it for? I'm just gonna see if a bitch cheating or something. Like, I want to see this shit.
If y'all are still believing that the wax museum is just wax figures and not real people, you guys are crazy. The world is a stage. In the movie House of Wax, it explained that to you and showed you exactly what it is. If you guys remember the movie House of Wax, then you guys should remember how it was real people that was under that wax. And that is exactly what it is at the Wax Museum. Those figures at the museum look super hyper realistic. They have everything down to a T, from the hair to the perfect height to the perfect weight to everything. And after seeing what happens to that Balenciaga model, I am 100% sure that those are people in that wax museum. The world is a stage, and they tell you through these movies, all you guys have to do is sit back and decode it. Yeah, I remember that movie, The Da Vinci Code, right? Now, I don't know what they do to these people, but I know that after whatever they do to these people, they post them up in the wax museum, like some kind of trophy. You guys have to stay woke and stay aware and pay attention to these movies that you guys are watching. These are not movies, these are actually documentaries. Bye.
I have many times found myself saying to groups like this, what a tragedy that someone might go from birth to death without ever having the psychedelic experience. It is the birthright of an intelligent species.
No way, what you see online is not the real China. This and this and this. They are the first tier and second tier of China and occupies only 10% in China. The real China is in another 90%. Let me show you. If you drive a car, the first 10 minutes, you are in the city center, skyscrapers, and neon lights, just like any big modern city you see in China. Another 10 minutes, and everything changed. No more tall buildings, no big factories. This is the real struggle of small cities. Not enough industry, not enough jobs, so young people live for big cities. Another 10 minutes, you are climbing hills, and you see countryside and farmland. In just half an hour, you see the red face of the small city, shrinking rural populations. Old and new buildings mixed together, fewer and fewer people. This is 90% of real China. Follow me to see the China, the real China.
Today I'm going to show you guys how we gas the bananas. First you start off with some ethylene gas. We're going to be gassing room 1 today. This is the bananas we will be gassing today. Drop our little gas. Come to our little machine. Open this little bad boy up. And take more. Throw our little lid. There we go. Close this door. Come to room 1. It and the gas on up, vent, the menu, and we are gassed.
Damn.
Hey, do y'all not find it weird that a country with $35 trillion in debt is the one that's giving us a credit score?
It's true.
Isn't it funny? Even ancient Native American folklore will tell you that when a human being eats another human being, it's no longer a human being. It is now a monstrous Wendigo. It is a monster that chose to become a monster, and it is irredeemable. It is unsavable. And it is, most importantly, no longer human. And the only way to protect humanity from it is to kill it. It's right there, guys.
Oh, you know these comments are going to be all over the place, y'all. Let's get into it. In the 70s, the Rothschilds held an Illuminati ball, and the woman was wearing a gold Wendigo mask. I knew Supernatural was getting me ready to fulfill my calling. And this is why Native Americans have faced systematic violence. They have always seen the truth and told us. Yeah, they share their truth, right? Every culture sees a cannibalism as a death sentence to the perpetrator. Vultures don't even eat each other. Wow. Are researching indigenous folklore and beliefs about a year ago, and when I learned about the Wendigo, I immediately thought of our political elites. Allegorically speaking, I didn't think it could be literal. Furthermore, prion disease isn't folklore at all, and the Wendigos have very real gaping holes in their brains. Also, a Wendigo, once addicted to human flesh, could never get enough and can never feel full and can never stop. It's a perfect allegory for gluttony and greed too. The Wendigo is never satisfied and always starving because of his choices. And you kind of think of these politics, right? What they say about them, kind of. So basically, everyone in the Epstein files is a Wendigo. That's what I'm saying. Like it kind of like goes hand in hand with what we know, right? Now I heard this tape is like super expensive, but still, I don't want to be looking out the window and seeing that.
Costco here, and look what they got going on in the chip aisle.
More Fruit Loops.
They got
More
these
Fruit Loops.
Pringles, double XL tube, and it's $12.99. Look at this.
Like, why?
Look at this thing of Pringles that you can get.
Why?
Here at Costco for $12.99. I'm not. Oh, it's a 4-canner. Okay, I guess that makes sense. But my gosh, just the obnoxious nature of this. This looks like a firework or something, dude. Like, this is crazy. All right, Pringles doing big things with Costco, $12.99. Not a bad deal, honestly.
One thing that we're using with AI is I can take a picture of somebody's house with ChatGPT in front of their house and say, what do you want to do for your landscaping? And she can say, well, I want like a Cape Cod look. So I want ornamental grasses, rose bushes, and hydrangeas. Okay, put it in ChatGPT. It makes a picture faster than I just talked about it. I can show it to the customer and say, is this what you want?
Before AI, how long would that take?
So that would have been that same conversation. We go back to the office. We have to draw a plan for her. We have to bring it to her and say, is this what you like? She might say, I don't like that, or I do, and then we get to revise it. And she still doesn't get a good vision of what it's going to look like. She's looking at a plan with circles and stars on it.
Has AI allowed you guys to scale back on labor?
Document and process it. We say to AI, this is our format for all of our processes. I need you to make me a process for creating an invoice in QuickBooks. I need you to make me a process for starting this front-end loader. I need you to make me that process for these 100 processes, and it will make them all for me. Instead of us literally typing them all, copy, paste it into Trainual, done.
You know why To Catch Predator ended, right?
No, I don't.
It ended because one of the people that they were going to catch that day committed while they were outside with their cameras approaching. He realized that they were coming and while the police was there also. So there is something very dangerous about that approach, right? And,
yes, absolutely.
And the fact that it was so popular really bothers me because you're watching somebody whose life is about to end. You know their life is about to end, right?
Absolutely.
And somehow people enjoy this. I mean, they enjoy watching the end of somebody's life. They enjoy watching.
It's the Roman Colosseum.
Right. Yes,
today.
Exactly. You could not have said that better.
Let's take a little deeper dive into this. Let's take a little deeper dive why this ended. Why did it end? Who are they trying to protect? Because what we're told is, just like any good thing, it always comes to an end eventually. Let's take a deeper dive into this. While NBC and host Chris Hansen officially maintained that To Catch Predator simply ran its course, the series effectively ended in 2008 following a series of high-profile legal and ethical controversies. The following factors are widely cited as the primary reasons for the show's conclusions. High-profile and legal fallout. In November 2006, an investigation in Murphy, Texas led to the Conrad, an assistant district attorney. Unlike other suspects, Conrad did not show up at the Sting house, so police and NBC Dateline crews went to his home to serve a warrant. Shot himself while the cameras were present. Damn, right there on TV pretty much. Lawsuit. Contract sister filed a $105 million wrongful death lawsuit against NBC, which the network eventually settled out of court.
So I believe that in Los Angeles, at least, there are actors and actresses being paid to play homeless people. I believe that this is a regular person, an actress, impersonating a homeless person. And the reason I believe this is because when you're on set, and they have homeless people on a movie set, I'm an actor, their outfits and their little carriages always look so perfect. And I've noticed around town that there are people with absolutely perfect little carriages and baskets and little carts and little outfits walking around or sitting on the bus. Like, this girl's just sitting on the bus. She's not really going anywhere. And then all of a sudden she turns around and she starts talking. And like, She sounds normal. She's very graceful. Her face looks good. Her hands look good. Shoes aren't that dirty. Nothing's really that dirty on this whole entire car. Her flowers look great. I truly believe that they are actors and actresses being paid to play homeless people. For the reason why, to keep people like, scared, maybe like to make a city look a certain way. Maybe like, maybe Austin, Texas is paying this person to pretend to be homeless to make the city look worse. In my opinion, that could be it. But yeah, in my opinion, this lady was on Ventura Boulevard. If you recognize her, I think she's a fucking actor. I think you're busted.
One of two things. Either it's an actor and the politicians there want more than meets the eye of homeless so they can get more funding, or that lady is not an actor and when she clocks out for the day, she goes around the corner into her Mercedes Benz. Can be one of those two things.
Pero de verdad. Ah, María. Yo comí carne humana y Kike y yo comimos carne humana en un lugar en el Marruecos español que se llamaba, una ciudad que se llama Shawen. Estaban filmando una película. Estábamos filmando La Corona Negra. Y nos invitó, uno de esos moros notables nos invitó, y este tipo le gustaba comer carne humana, pero yo no lo sabía, y nos dio a comer. A mí me gustó, era una cosa como...
So this Spanish actress says this happened when she was shooting a movie in Morocco. Just to bring to your attention, a certain Jeff Files, there was mention of trying to acquire property in that same region. And I'm not saying that that's connected, but it is definitely interesting. Especially when you look at the case in 2017 about a man in Azamor, where a man was arrested on suspicion of eating the heart and drinking the you-know-what of a 14-year-old victim. So no, don't sit there and tell me things like this don't happen when you can literally look it up yourself.
No thanks.
I just saw something really weird in the ocean. Let me know
Swimming in the ocean.
what's going on.
Could be that.
Did you hear what Matt Damon said about Netflix?
No, what did he say?
He was on Joe Rogan's podcast and he kind of said the quiet part out loud. These streaming services want you to reiterate the dialogue 3 or 4 times because they just assume we're not paying attention.
Well, they're gonna steal the money.
It'd be so much easier if we just stole this money. I want to steal this rip. Do you think I want to jack this rip? You mean the money you've been trying to steal all night?
Oh, so that's why the rib felt a little off.
And I really didn't realize it until he said that on the podcast. They are telling you what the main conflict of the movie is over and over again in a Cocomelon style way.
I want to rip it. How much is this rip supposed to be? That's a $20 million rip. Dane's doing the rip. I don't trust this rip. A rip.
They are creating content to be watched in the background, but not content that is just compelling enough to demand your attention. It's really unfortunate because, like, if this trend becomes more successful year over year, you're going to get a lot of really great concepts like the rip that are going to get turned into oversimplified slop, and we're going to say it's great because we won't have anything else to really compare it to, because if this is successful, movies that go into the theater will continue the same trend because they know it's going to go to streaming and so on and so on.
Hey, coming from an Army vet, you can't just walk into a military base and steal drones and drive out of the... Quick question for everybody who was in the military. What gate did they come out of with that with the drones? Because you can't go over the wall with it. So how did those drones come up missing? Honestly, asking as a logistics specialist who used to do inventory for all of our shit, how How? How is it not paperwork? How is it not people working overnight, not going home or sleeping to find it? No way. We lost a drill bit and we had to do hands across base for like 2 weeks straight. You are not going to tell me that y'all just missed a drone, a few of them. Oh my God, the FBI reports that some drones just came out. So you mean to tell me the MPs, the gate guards, they would just sleep? Stop playing with us.
I did some research on this. They were saying these people, it's an inside job. They had access to get in there because I used to live by Luke Air Force Base, and every once in a while you'd get someone crazy that would try to hop that fence, y'all, within seconds. They are on that person. It's like they have a perimeter. So people ain't breaking in there and definitely ain't going to get the drones. But let's check out some of these comments and see what people say. This company just bought the US Bank Tower in Los Angeles. They purchased the World Trade Center 6 weeks before I saw this. They said Iran is going to attack Cali with drones. I'm sure in a coincidence, right? They don't have good riders for this season of the fall of the empire. Here comes the surprise drone attack on the US from Iran. Marines here. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's an inside job. That might not be impossible, but I'm sure somebody that works, just doing office paperwork, like let's just say human resources. I'm sure those people that do that don't got access. Their badge doesn't get them access to that piece of the military base. Navy vet here. It's effing impossible. And if anything happens here in California, it's a false flag and it's done by our government to try to okay this war with Iran. The government used to seem so smart when I was a child, didn't they? As a comment reader, it's impossible. I have zero military experience, but even though it's our own government, former army officer, it's impossible. My question is, why did they lie? What is actually going on? Vet here, it's extremely impossible.
I knew I had a cavity on one of my back teeth. I knew I did. But the dentist, he scanned my teeth and he was like, oh, you good. He walked out. So I asked, the little assistant, the little assistant person, the dentist walked out. I was like, hey, does that x-ray, because my x-ray was on the screen. He was like, oh yeah, you got a cavity right here. So the dentist came back in. I was like, hey, your assistant said I do have a cavity on that back too. He gave him the most quick little glance, like quick little micro glance, bro. Like, nigga, what the fuck? Why the fuck could you say that?
Yeah, because he wanted that shit to
He
get
wanted
worse.
the root canal.
Yeah,
He wanted the root canal,
wanted
me,
that
bro,
root canal
which is like
shit.
$2,000 out of pocket. And so I
That's
stopped going to
crazy.
them. So
That
I
shit
called.
happened to me too.
Yeah, they train
See.
and they program to do this shit, bro.
That be some bullshit, bro. That's that fuck shit, bro.
I don't know if you've ever been.
Well, the number one, the number one most profession with debt is dentistry. I watched Pat Riley, Dave Ramsey's, and all the time what are you, a doctor, a lawyer, dentist, because when they get out, they have to go get their own profession, right? So they get more debt after their college debt, and then they need that fancy car. So that's like the number one profession with the most debt. So that's probably why they're the number one scam artists. They got all that debt, all that overhead.
As far as your eyes can possibly see, it's just
an ocean of heroin poppy.
Sure enough, we see a poppy farmer, and I asked a very stupid question. I said, why would you grow poppy when you can grow vegetables with 2 growing seasons? And he goes like this, he goes,
The Americans told me in 2001 that if I told them where the Arabs were, I could grow all the poppy I wanted.
And I said, what American told you could grow poppy? And the security guy says,
Meeting over.
And he grabs me by the arm and he physically pulls me back to the Jeep.
Do you want to know why new builds always seem kind of shitty? And like it literally just feels like it's toothpicks with paper wrapped around it. I'll show you why. I'll give you a fucking example. Let's see here. This piece of wood is 123 years old, or 25 years old, okay? Let's find another one. We gotta go cut in, I can see. Damn it, where's the cut in? Hold on. Yeah. This one is about like, I'd say maybe 50, 70 years old, right? I'll find a better one. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, where's it? No. Yeah, baby. Ooh, this is so heavy. This 2x4, heavy as shit. 4 times as heavy as the one you get nowadays. Look at how tight those rings are. Okay, now I'm gonna show you 2x4s that were recently purchased from, I think it was like Home Depot, I don't know. kind of hard to tell, but the rings are so fucking tight. It is ridiculous. This is nowhere near as heavy as this is. And it's not just from time. They do not let pine mature past a certain amount of time because they're trying to get it out fast. Pine is actually one of the hardest hardwoods in the world, but it takes hundreds of years for it to become that way. That's why old 2x4s are so fucking strong. But we don't do that no more. They don't let the trees grow long enough for them to be strong. So we have all these shitty ass pine that it's so twisted and fucked up. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing with these trees? You wanna see some other shit? Yeah, okay. Oh no, my rack! This is a rack of nails, right? Yeah, just for a framing gun, regular rack of nails. Framing nails, okay? This is the original. Sorry, my phone's almost dying. Do you see that? Do you see the size?
They just want profit.
Dude.
They
actually had craftsmanship. This is an original house built in the, late 1900s, very early 20th century. All of the door frames were built on site by the craftsmen, bro. They're so sturdy. Look at this, man. This is the original frame for the fucking doors. This window. You see this shit, man. You see how well this shit is built? Look at that. It's so frustrating to see that there's no actual true craftsmanship anywhere. They don't give a fuck. Dude, I can't tell you how many times I go on a new fucking job site. Redoing an old home like this truly makes you appreciate how well built our homes were. And guess what? Not only is this place built great, I found 20 bottles of whiskey, old ass bottles of whiskey in a closet. They just drop in their bottles. Half of them are broken. Hold on, I'll show you the fucking proof. They're over here. Look at it. All whiskey bottles. And these fuckers managed to build this beautiful home. It's crazy.
After nearly 144 years of construction, the world's tallest church has finally reached its maximum height. Barcelona's Sagrada Familia has been under construction for so long that locals have become used to seeing scaffolding and cranes alongside it. But on Friday, the last piece was finally put in place. A 17-meter tall, four-sided steel and glass cross was craned to the top of the Tower of Jesus Christ, reaching a staggering height of 172.5 meters, making it not only the tallest church in the entire world, but also the city's tallest building. The expectation now is that the scaffolding will finally be removed before the church's official inauguration, which is something that many people in the city have never seen before.
Okay, hold on a second. Friday the 13th in March. The last Friday the 13th in March that we had was in 2020. And what did they do in 2020? We know we had mass hysteria, but they asked people to stay home, right? Are you aware that right now in Vietnam, Thailand, and Denmark, they're asking their citizens to stay home to save fuel? Is that strange? At first it's a recommendation, then it turns into something else. In 2 days, it's the Ides of March, which is the anniversary of Julius Caesar's assassination. Many people are wondering what's coming around the corner with World War III, the Strait of Hormuz, private credit issues, sleeper cells, BlackRock not letting investors get their money. People are wondering if energy lockdowns are around the corner. And the TSA is currently underfunded when there's talk of sleeper cells in the mainstream media. I don't know about you, but many people wonder if something strange is coming around the corner, and that vibe is definitely in the air.
See, as a kid, these was fun. Now, I really be wondering, how long the fucking candy been in there?
I know, that's true.
Don't get famous. If you're on a spacewalk and you get famous during a spacewalk, something probably didn't go right.
Some of the commercials I see, they go off and they're just out there off the space station. You don't want to be that, because there's a chance you could become a satellite. And if you become a satellite, meaning that you're out there on your own, separate from the space station, you get famous. You don't want that. Spacewalks are so mental. There is not a passive movement on a spacewalk. If you float off structure, we have a jetpack that's attached to our spacesuit. It's called Safer. Basically, you reach back here, you lift a handle, spring opens, and there's a controller. You grab the controller, you put it on your chest, you turn it on, and now you've got a small bottle of gaseous nitrogen, and you control yourself and you try to fly yourself back to the space station. And it's got a little counter, 93%, 85%, 7%, until you got none. And if you're not back at the station and you got no gaseous nitrogen, you're a satellite. See you later.
I'm telling you guys, you need to read some old books. So check this out. I got this book called American Antiquities and Discoveries in the West. It's by Josiah Priest. And this is a reprint from 1833. And it's got some really interesting details about who the Europeans encountered when they got to the Americas. This is stuff they don't tell you in school. And so Josiah Priest goes on to quote a professor named Rathenisk. And here's what he writes. The Americans could not have sprung up from a single nation because independently of the languages, their features and complexions are as various as in Africa and in Asia. We find in America white, tawny, brown, yellow, olive, copper, even black nations as in Africa. Also dwarfs and giants, handsome and ugly, flat and aquiline noses, thick and thin lips. That's pretty interesting, huh? It also goes on to say that in Florida, the Indians there and the Choctaws worshipped a god called Yehovah or Jehovah, kind of like Jehovah. And as we're told, there wasn't a J in the ancient dialect, so kind of sounds like the God of the Bible. And that's really interesting when you consider that Christopher Columbus thought he landed in the land of Azareth, as prophesied by Esdras in 2nd Esdras. And this was the land where the 10 lost tribes of Israel were to travel to. So guys, he thought the Indians were Hebrews, part of the lost 10 tribes of Israel. History is way more interesting than we were ever taught.
Check this story out for a second.
Typically in the United States, when assets are obtained through illegal activities, when you're arrested, one of the first things that the government does is takes away any assets that you own that was acquired through illegal activity. Felix Gallardo, Ernesto Fonseca, Rafael Caro Quintero, you're saying when they were arrested, none of their properties, none of their money was touched?
From what I understand, yes, they say on paper that they do, but then they take their chunk and give it back to them because everything is corrupt. In other words, just because they say they seized, let's say, a bank from Ernesto Fonseca, doesn't mean they really seized it. They seized it and they advertise they seized it, but then they give it back to him. In other words, everything is corrupt. You know? Everything is corrupt. You can't even believe their arrest statistics. You can't even believe the drugs, because even the drugs they seize from them, they make a major newspaper splash. Oh, they seize so many kilos of cocaine or a ton of cocaine. Later, they end up giving it back to the traffickers. They don't destroy it like we do here. Everything, when you think about it, everything is corrupt. Are you going to believe anything they say over there?
And that's the part.
I mean, out there, the cartels are the government. Out here, the government is the cartel, right? What do you think they do when they seize all these drugs here? They think they destroy it, like he said? No, they probably use it undercover and put it back out in the system. And, you know, out there, cartels are government. Out here, our government is the cartel.
Story most people don't hear about.
It's ironic that there's so many stumps around this thing. But this is literally like the exact same thing on a smaller scale. The tower has columns one after another. This one just boom, 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 all the way around. All the way around. Exactly the same. As that. But I'm just a conspiracy theorist.
So funny story, right? So I'm inside the TJ Maxx, right? And I noticed that as I was paying, this one lady, right? She definitely looked like a witch, right? and I'm paying for my stuff, and I have bought this little curling iron to give it like a little bit of volume, right? So as I'm in there, she comes up. She wasn't even the lady at the register. Like, she literally came out of nowhere and was like touching the curling iron, and she's like, oh, have you used this one before? And I looked at her as she touched it, and I go behind her and I literally touch it, and I'm like, no, I haven't. But in the spirit, it's like, hold on one second. Hold on, I'm waiting for my daughter. Kati. Hold on one second. Sorry. Kati, come on. So I'm sitting there and I'm like holding it, right? Oh, there goes Poppy right there. She goes, so she's like, oh, have you used this before? But she came like with a little, like, I don't know, like, you know, that evil face, like somebody that just wants to touch something. Like, she had her little touchy hands and stuff. And I'm sitting there and I bless it in the mighty name of Jesus. Like, I'm not allowing her to like curse anything, and that's what we got to be very careful with when you go into these stores, right? Sometimes you're gonna have people just coming out of nowhere just touching your stuff, and it's like, I noticed that people who are involved in witchcraft, they love to do that, especially when you shopping, and you got to be careful because you touching, you buying something and somebody's coming out of nowhere to just put their hands on your belongings. I even had this lady do that to us when I was shopping, and I ended up getting these 2 lions for the church, and she just come out of nowhere putting her hands on stuff. So always remember, when people do those type of things, don't forget to bless it and cover it with the blood of Jesus. So while she was like, oh, have you used this before, and put her hand on it, I literally touched it right back and removed the curse and was like, no, I haven't. And she just looked at me like weird, you know. So we always got to be careful with people like that.
It scared the hell out of me. For some reason, the day it started, Napster, I said, this is toast. Because I understand the market. I understand why the audience would say, I'd much rather be doing my homework and not have to ask my mother to take me to a record store. Okay, that simple impulse, and it's free. And then I went and met with people at Intel and places like that, and I heard these guys talk, and I'm like, holy shit.
What were they saying that made you say, holy shit?
One of the things the guy at Intel said to me is, Jimmy, I got to tell you something. Your story is compelling. He said, but not every industry was built to last forever. So I'm like, oh, shit. Right. So I went to them and I said, I can't just be in the record business.
Y'all, I'm at Goodwill, and I literally found tracking devices in these Nikes, and everybody wanted to say I'm crazy, and I'm about to prove it that they actually do have tracking devices in them. Look at this shit. So I'm over here, sitting here just scrolling. I'm like, oh yeah, if they have the plus sign, they always have a tracking device. And everybody's like, it's not a tracking device. It's not a tracking device. Look at this shit. You open up this shoe, the left shoe. There's nothing in there, right? Look at this. Nike, I'm suing. You're not allowed to track me. You open up this left shoe. Look at that. It's a fucking tracking device. Nike and Apple is the Illuminati. Look at this. Apple, made in California. Model number A1193. Look at that. That's crazy. It's a fucking tracking device. Nike and Apple, you're not allowed to track me without my permission. You know what I'm saying? That's actually fucking crazy. Now look, it just sits right back in there.
We remember small things like being in a shower with Dave.
All right, Bob Saget has a new book out saying that he did a lot of inappropriate jokes. Do you remember the jokes when you were on set?
They were very inappropriate. We probably couldn't even talk about it here.
What's your earliest memory of that?
There's quite a few. I'm not sure if they're memories or old footage.
Right, right.
Now, when they mention the name Dave there, I'm assuming you mean Uncle Joey from the show. The fact they were in a shower with him, given their age, and the fact they described it as inappropriate, come on, does that not raise red flags? Then you take a look at how these guys have turned out. A very common theme with child actors in Hollywood. They all seem to be battling some invisible issues below the surface, considering these people had the world at their feet and was inducted into fame and fortune from such a young age. And I wonder why that industry is such a poison chalice.
I don't believe in free will either.
You don't believe in free will. So when you make decisions, do you feel like somebody's making them for you?
I didn't choose where I'm from. I didn't choose my parents. I didn't choose the fact that I dealt with debilitating back pain for a huge percentage of my life. And I feel like realistically, it's like pretty hard to justify the idea of free will, because as much as it feels like you're making decisions, even the words coming out of my mouth, like I couldn't have told you that I was going to choose to use the words that I'm using right now. I think that free will is kind of a delusion. Even you've chosen to live under the God that is essentially the God that you were raised with. If you had been born in India, you wouldn't even know about Christianity.
In Genesis, when God creates us, what does he create us as? Out of dirt. And I don't know if you know this about yourself, but anything that I'm kind of around for a bit, I start producing the fruits of it. Like when I'm walking away from you after this conversation, I'm going to grow a little bit more wise in some other things because you've planted seeds with me. I understand when you mean that there is no free will, but I have to kind of push back to think that you grew up with your mom and dad pushing narratives on you, but you didn't accept those narratives. You accepted the ones in the BMX world, but you could have planted these in your heart, but you chose which you wanted to plant in your heart.
Sorry, the president wants you right away.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem at all. See you shortly, Mr. Secretary.
You can work that in.
Mr. Secretary, I have to say, it's a first, I'm sure a last as well, that an interviewee's been pulled away to go to the Situation Room. How's the president? Was he stressed?
No, the president is in great spirits. The Iranian mission is proceeding well ahead of schedule. And I have to tell you, Wolf, that I have a teenager who's considering military service. And I could give this team my highest compliment, from President Trump to the head of the Joint Chiefs to the Secretary of War. I would say that I would trust my child's life in their hands.
First of all, this was all staged. I think if this guy would have got some serious breaking news that's going to come to a point where he looks like he's going to cry on camera, he wouldn't have got back on camera. That's what I think. The president would have told him something, he can't hold his composure, they wouldn't have let that boy back on camera, especially if it was some classified stuff. So this was by design. They wanted this to come out. They wanted us to see this. There's 11,000 comments on this one video. Let's check them out. Everybody go learn about fragging. Are the pizza deliveries up around Washington? Yeah. He came back and sounded like he was about to cry and then started talking about his son going into the military. They are absolutely considering the draft, but he won't say anything against Trump, even though he actually disagrees. Him being scared doesn't warrant your empathy. Oh, they are getting ready for a draft. Giving his child already. He's grieving his child already. President is in great spirits. Key Pell. This is terrifying. Bro is trembling. His adrenaline is pumping over something. He sounds like he's about to burst into tears. Notice how fast he is blinking. Something big happened. That man's voice is shaking so hard. I trust the president with my teenager's life. The shaky voice is adrenaline. Something shook him. That way he is blinking lets me know he was terrified. He doesn't believe his own words. Shakes his head no while saying positive things. Y'all, there's nobody telling him no in that office. Anyone that tells him no, he fires them. No one's telling him no, y'all. Even though, like, first of all, there's no proof. There's no proof to us that they have nuclear bombs. We have no proof. We supposedly bombed their nuclear facilities, a year or so ago? But there's no proof to us. They did that once to us. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And they're doing the same thing again. They haven't done nothing to us. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know if they're killing all these people like he's saying. I don't know. They don't tell us that. Maybe you should tell us that. Maybe you should show that on our news. Don't hide that from us. And then maybe we'll be a little okay with this and believe you a little bit and be for this war. But you hide every damn thing from the people. You don't tell us nothing. You don't tell us no truth. You don't even tell us what's going on right now with this war. They don't even tell us what's going on right now, y'all. I don't think nothing's good's going to come from this. I'm a little worried. What are your guys' thoughts on this?